So how do you maximize your Facebook marketing for your business so that you can actually target your ideal audience? Hi everyone, it's Leanne Cohen's here, Digital Success Catalyst and owner of Marketing Leap. And today we're going to be talking about Facebook marketing so that you can actually target your ideal audience or your ideal client when you show up. Now, there are actually 2.8 billion monthly users on Facebook, and that's every single month. Having said that, the average engagement rate of any organic post is only 0.25%. So it's not incredibly high. So how do you maximize your Facebook marketing to actually target your audience? Well, one of the first things is actually building a relationship. And if you've listened to any of the videos that I've done previously, one of the things that I'm always talking about is the fact that Facebook is social media or part of social media, which, in itself, it's all about being social and all about building relationships. And anything to do with any kind of marketing or even growing your business, it really is about building those relationships with people. And through Facebook, you've probably got one of the best platforms out there to actually get to know your ideal client, to actually start building a relationship with your target audience and with your clientele. And the interesting thing is with Facebook is the fact that of all of the users, 53% of adults on Facebook actually don't understand how Facebook displays posts on the newsfeed. So as a business owner, that gives you a really good idea of what you should be doing when you're showing up. And half the people, they're not even sure how the posts are displayed. Just some statistics for you. The average reach for an organic post at the moment is sitting at 5.2%. So if you're doing an organic post, of all of your entire audience, only 5% of them are actually seeing it. Not only that, and again, like I said, when it comes to social media, it's all about being social. The biggest factor is engagement. And engagement is people liking, commenting, using one of the other emojis of caring or loving or being sad. But having that engagement at the moment on an organic post, again, is only sitting at 0.25%. So that's why building relationships first is so important. Not only that, but it's one of the top 4 ranking aspects or ranking factors of the Facebook algorithm. The ranking algorithm for any of the social media platforms, they have certain ranking signals that they use that will actually help put a particular post that you might put up ahead of somebody else, so that you're showing up in the newsfeed or the timeline first. Why relationship? Because if the post that you have put up there is getting some really good engagement, Facebook is going to put that in front of more people. And engagement being tags, shares, likes, comments. That's one of the first things that will actually help get the post up, is having a post that gets some really high engagement and starts being seen as part of the relationship building process. The next thing is, the type of content. So video is really, really becoming such a big factor as far as content types. But again, looking at, what is it that people engage with most? Is it a video? Is it a photo? Is it a funny meme or a GIF? Then the next ranking factor, so the first one is relationship. The second ranking factor is the content type. The third ranking factor is your popularity. And that's where, like I said, the engagement comes in. So when people are seeing it, are they sharing it? Are they commenting it? Are they doing the angry face? Because that kind of a reaction is going to dictate how far it goes up on the newsfeed as well. And then the fourth main ranking factor is recency. So that's whether it's a new post or it's been out for a while. And you'll probably find, and I actually had something come up the other day where somebody replied to a comment that I'd left 52 weeks ago, so basically a year ago, and she commented on replied to my comment over the weekend. So I got notified and thought it's a bit strange. But again, it's all about the recency. So sometimes it's a good idea to actually go back through some of your older posts and if it's something that you want to put in front of people, putting another comment out there underneath that particular post, because again, having that recency is a ranking factor. So just bear that in mind. It's the relationship, it's the content type, it's the popularity, and then how recent the post is will dictate how far up the news feed it shows. Creating a post that actually has your audience and has your friends and everybody around you commenting and replying is such a big thing. Having conversation starters to get more reach will actually help push you in front of more people that wouldn't normally see you. Now, one of the best ways of making sure that you're making the most of this is to check your insights. If you're not too sure where to find your insights, I did a video about 2 or 3 weeks ago where I actually go right through the back end and show you where your insights are and how to find things. Now, Facebook has recently changed, and 9 times out of 10, you will only see your insights now because of this recent change on your business account. So finding out when they're online, finding out where you're getting the most engagement, what particular days and times that are relevant to your audience is really, really important. So making sure that you've got those insights set up and that you know when you're going to get the most engagement is really, really important. Another way is to skip the algorithm completely, and by setting up stories or Facebook stories. So Facebook owns Instagram. They've got this great system where you can actually connect, you have to connect your Facebook and your Instagram together. If you do a post or a story on Instagram, you can actually feed that across to go directly onto your Facebook feed as well. So using stories actually skips the algorithm completely. And Facebook stories have about 3 million visitors a day, or 3 million active users a day viewing Facebook stories. It's not just a nice to have. As a business owner, it is something that you can actually use and employ in your business. Not only that, Facebook stories are, and this is according to Facebook, are really, really effective when it comes to actually driving traffic to websites and driving traffic to Facebook business pages. In actual fact, 58% of people have actually stated that they will visit a brand's website for more information after watching a story. Think about that for a minute. 58% of people will visit a website after watching a story. With 3 million active daily users, it is something that you really need to start factoring into your marketing process when it comes to what you're doing on Facebook. Some of the things that you need to look at when you are putting stories together on Facebook is it has to be easy to understand. Putting something just completely irrelevant and random out there isn't going to drive traffic to your website. So it has to be something that's easy to understand. Half of the people that are actually visiting and watching Facebook stories want to see new products. And from that, another 50% are actually looking for advice and tips. So when you are creating a bit of a strategy around your Facebook stories, there are things to keep in mind. Make sure it's easy to understand. If you have new products or things coming out, pop them up. And then any tips and advice are really, really great when it comes to actually, again, using this to drive people to your website. The next thing is Facebook groups. Now, again, in a previous week, I think it might have been 2 weeks ago, I did a video on how to increase your engagement and how to grow your audience and build your email list from a Facebook group. Now, having that group is so important because, again, it's about establishing relationships and building those relationships and getting your brand out there so that you become top of mind when people are looking for what it is that you do that's going to fix a problem that they have. Not only that, when it comes to showing up online, going live, exactly like I am here. The reason that live videos are so much more effective is because they get 6 times more engagement than just a normal video. Melissa Groom does an incredible 30-day video challenge, which gets people comfortable with showing up online, showing up in front of the camera. And I don't know too many people that still can just switch the camera on and away they go without at least feeling a little bit nervous or stressed to get started. So having that practice is really important. But again, when it comes to actually maximizing, your business page, going live and talking about what you do and giving advice, again, is a great way to do things. Another little tip that a lot of people don't know is that Facebook actually allocates every user 30 spots where they can actually go in and have favorites. So you can literally have favorite 30 different pages, and that will guarantee that you actually see the content from those pages before anything else. So when you are doing a Facebook Live, like I am now, one of the things that you can recommend is that people actually go in, and if they like your business page or they like your group, that they favorite it. So it goes into one of those 30 slots, whether you're watching on Mums in Business, whether you're watching on my Digital Success Catalyst page or Marketing Leap, or in my Digital Success with Style group. You can actually go in and favorite any one of those pages or groups, and the next time there is content posted, you'll be notified from that straight away. So that's just a good little tip, and even for you to put out there for your followers and for your clients, letting people know that if they favorite your page, they will actually see more of it. There are some of the more basic organic ways of actually maximizing your presence on Facebook to actually build your target audience. And one of the things that I really need to stress too is when you are showing up, you've got to make sure that you have a call to action. And a call to action is basically just telling people what it is that you want them to do. So like I said, favoriting the group or the page so that the information shows up, because people are silently begging to be led. And if you do not tell them what to do, they're not going to do it. So they're just some of the tips from the organic side. Of course, with the way that everything has gone, with the organic reach going down, with the engagement per organic post going down, the next step is then to look at advertising. Facebook's advertising is a massive beast. And in the fourth quarter of last year, they actually had an advertising revenue of $20.7 billion. And that was actually a 25% growth in their revenue stream from the previous year. So obviously, with everyone being in lockdown and COVID, that did have a lot to do with it. But even so, 20.7 billion when it comes to advertising. Now, I'll run through some of the things that you can look at when it comes to actually targeting and setting up. But when you are looking at your figures and when you are looking at your statistics, if you are running ads, there are a number of channels that you can actually put your ads across. And everything that you do, you have to do through your Facebook Manager. Now, the average cost per 1,000 views across the board for pretty much every ad, you're looking at $5.31. So this will give you a really good idea. If you're running an ad and that cost per 1,000 views is sitting at $10.50, you know that you need to go back and either tighten up your call to action, you need to tighten up the descriptions or the headline, could be the image, or even just tighten up on your targeting and who it is that you're focusing on. Because, like I said, the average cost for 1,000 views is $5.30. The average cost per click on Facebook is actually 43 cents. So that gives you a really good baseline as far as your cost per click goes. And the way that Facebook advertising works is, people will be scrolling through. The minute they click on that ad, you get charged. And depending on how you've got it set up, you could have it set up for, 1,000 views, or you can have it set up for clicks. It just depends on a lot of different factors. And actually, running a training on Facebook advertising is actually a course in itself, not even a video. So that sort of gives you some idea of the costings that you should be looking at when you are looking at going into Facebook advertising. Now, there's 4 different placements when it comes to advertising. There's Facebook itself, whether it's in the news feed or if you're on desktop on the sidebar. There is Instagram, there is Messenger, and then there is Audience Network. An Audience Network is where you'll see a lot of the newspapers now are actually putting their feeds and everything in there. And you can actually advertise. So when somebody is going through and reading an article, your advert will come up there. They're the 4 areas: Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and the Audience Network. Now within Facebook and Instagram, you can also select whether you want to advertise in stories as well. So that's always another good little way of getting yourself out there. Click-through rate on most of the Facebook adverts across the board, you're looking at 3.9%. So the reason I'm giving you these figures is it gives you some kind of a guideline of where you sit when it comes to averages when you start looking at doing your own ads. When it comes to setting up your Facebook advertising, the first thing you need to make sure is that you do have your Facebook pixel installed on your website. If you're not sure how to do that, obviously you'll need to speak to your web developer, but it's just a little piece of code that you can actually have set up. And basically what that does is connect Facebook to your website so they can actually start tracking the statistics. Not only that, it makes it so much easier for you to then, when you are running your ads, you can select to retarget to people that have been to your website, and you can start following them around Facebook if you want to. With your Facebook pixel, you can create dynamic ads. So like I said, for people that have visited your website, you can chase them around Facebook. You can track your conversions on whether they've come from a mobile phone, whether they've come from your website, and then that makes it so much easier for you to then optimize when it comes to selecting your audience and how that's going to show up. When it comes to selecting an audience, across the board, there are so many targeting options. So you can target by interest, you can target by demographics, you can target by income levels, you can target different influencers. So me personally, whenever I'm running Facebook ads for my business, I will actually target people that like other agencies, that like other marketing mentors, and from there create an audience around that. So, and then of course you've got your locations, you've got specific generations and ages that you can focus on. So making sure that you get your target audience right is probably one of the most important things when it comes to setting up your advertising. And again, like I said earlier, making sure that you've got a really great call to action, that makes people want to click further to see what's going on. Make sure you've got a great headline. And then make sure that the image that you've got works and it gets that response. Because again, it's all about having that engagement. And one of the greatest things, and I'll go back to the building a relationship, one of the greatest things is making sure that when people see you, you stay top of mind. And I don't know about you, but my Facebook feed is just full of sponsored posts. But the ones that actually get my attention, the ones that have a lot of comments, a lot of people engaging, because it makes it interesting. You want to see what else is going on. When it comes to targeting your audience, there are some of the ways that you can show up. So making sure that you're building those relationships, making sure that you are hitting those 4 ranking factors of relationship, content type, popularity, and recency with your posts. Making sure that when you are putting stuff out there, you do get people starting conversations and engaging, because that's going to get you further out in front of your ideal audience. And then of course using stories. And then when you are looking at doing your Facebook advertising, that you are really, really clear on who your target market is. There are some of my top tips when it comes to maximizing your Facebook marketing and helping you target your ideal audience. If you're not sure about how any of this works, or you want to have a chat and just get some ideas of what would be the best thing for your business, comment below or reach out to me, because I do have a full service digital agency and we do everything from Facebook advertising. I'm a Google specialist, so we do Google ads, but we also do a lot around social media marketing as well, and even social media management for business owners who know that they've got to show up, but their time is better spent somewhere else. So if any of that is of interest to you, please connect with me, because my passion is really just helping business owners understand this digital space and grow their businesses so that you can have the life that you want. In the meantime, guys, have an amazing week. I will see you next Monday at 12 o'clock and we'll talk then. Bye.